Hi guys, Alyssa here, and I'm just going to update you guys, and then I've got some stuff that I need to get off my chest, so I'll do that too. Alright, so first my little update of where I'm at right now. Currently, I have an extremely itchy nose, so if I rub my nose and my face through this whole video, it's because my nose is itchy. I think my allergies are starting to kick in. I get a fall allergy, and here, leaves have started to fall, which is weird. And there's definitely pollen. Well, that's not pollen. What is it? Ragweed? I don't exactly know what it is in the fall. Anyways, there's stuff in the air. It's making me sneeze. So, I'm itchy. And not crying. Just, just allergies. But also, it is cycle day 3, so I am officially not pregnant. And am feeling pretty cruddy. You know, I'm on my period. My period is more intense this month than normal, which I'll get into later. But, you know, we're headed into the waiting for ovulation part. I'm going to start taking OBKs, which I got like a bajillion in the mail. I ordered them off of Amazon, and I got 100 WANFO OBKs and I think 40 WANFO pregnancy tests. I reorganized all my stash, which maybe I should have brought so I could show you how I organize it, but too late. But I reorganized all of them. I actually also got a really cool gift last cycle from a friend who she was just trying to prove to her boyfriend that she was not pregnant, so she grabbed some first response, what she thought were pregnancy tests, but it turned out it was a pack of 7 OPKs and a pregnancy test, so she took the pregnancy test to prove she wasn't pregnant, and then had all these ovulation tests, which she doesn't need, so she gave them to me, so that's kind of cool. So this cycle, I think my plan is to test up until the WANFOs start getting darker, and then maybe I'll take the first response ovulation tests, because I kind of want to save them, because they're super nice. So that's sort of my current situation. I ovulated cycle day 17 of 30 last cycle, so I'm guessing I'll be ovulating right around cycle day 16 to 18 this cycle. So, about 15 days away. So that's kind of exciting. Alright, and then, okay, the stuff I need to get off my chest. So last cycle, I'm about 95, maybe 93% sure that I had chemical. So, for those of you who don't know, my understanding of chemical pregnancies is where an egg is fertilized and boinces down your fallopian tube, gets to the uterus, but can't implant or doesn't implant properly. Something weird happens there, and it comes out in what is basically a normal period, except for that instead of the egg being dissolved and just in your endocrine maybe, there we go, layer, it was fertilized. So I think that's what happened to me. I think it was, I don't know if there's like, I'm guessing there's degree of chemical, like they can like implant and then immediately miscarry, or touch and immediately just like don't even implant really. I think I'm on the like barely even counts as a chemical end of things. And I know some of you are going to watch this and say, you're crazy, that's not what a chemical pregnancy is. And if so, go ahead and tell me. But that's what I think happened, so here's why. First of all, I should say that if you hadn't watched all my videos, last cycle was tough for me. I was mentally really unable to wrap my head around what was going on last cycle for some reason. Like, what my body was doing, how I was feeling. I was just having a tough time kind of getting it all together. And it felt like it took a really long time. It was one of those cycles that just kind of drug along and felt really weird. So that may have just contributed to why my symptoms were strange, but who knows. So after I ovulated, I had some symptoms that did not match my typical pattern post-ovulation for a cycle that's a non-pregnancy, just a normal cycle. But those symptoms did match the one cycle where I did get pregnant. So that kind of was my first, something weird's happening. I was getting heartburn, I was feeling a little bit nauseated, I was having backaches and cramps, but they weren't normal for me. They weren't like, usually they're like achy, these were more like bubbly, and like a little bit of sharp pain once in a while. Definitely atypical for me. So, and they were at the wrong time in my cycle anyways. So, had weird symptoms. Breasts got a little tender for like a day or two, which also is not a typical. My breasts usually don't get tender at all when I PMS, so also weird. But so that all happened, and then I got a couple of tests that had faint lines, and one of them, everyone was kind of like borderline, that could be an evap, it could not be, but at the time I couldn't take a first response. Well, when I did, it was super diluted, so we didn't really know. But that same morning I got a WANFO that had a faint line, and I have never seen a WANFO with a true evap before. Maybe you guys have, and I know some people say they have, but I really haven't. When I look at people that say that they're evaps, I literally can't see anything. So I don't know what was up with that, but I also, like, in the following days, got a couple more WANFOs with super, like, ridiculously faint lines, and they did not get any darker. So, also kind of makes me think that there was something, and then it just immediately was gone. So, I was feeling like I really had hope, and as the closer I got, I actually took a couple first response, and one of them was, like, totally negative. And then the other I took on a really long hold, and I swear, there is I threw it away and stuff, but there was a slight line. So, I think I had a chemical. And then about 2 days before, maybe a day before my period came, I really just, things flipped. I went from actually, about 4 days before, I went from feeling like these symptoms feel sort of pregnancy-y to having nothing. Like, really feeling not a lot of symptoms. And I kind of exaggerated them, I think, a little bit in my head, there was a day or two where really not much was happening at all. And I think I kind of, in my head, was, like, magnifying the teeniest feelings I was having to try to, like, to convince myself I was still feeling pregnant. When in reality, I really was feeling absolutely nothing, which also is atypical because usually about 3 to 4 days before I start really PMSing. But they shifted then, probably like last Thursday, and I don't think I said this, it is Tuesday, August 19th, so if you're still watching, yay, you know the date now. But they really shifted, and all of a sudden I was like, I'm fully PMSing right now. My backaches and cramps started, which always happens about a day before my period. And I always have this one day where I just feel like weepy, and I will literally cry on anything. And it's always about a day and a half, 2 days before my period. So that'll happen. Sure enough, my period came 1 day late, which is obviously not extraordinary, but is a little weird for me. Typically, it's like 29 days. Exactly. And it was 30, and it was midday on 30. So I don't know. My period has also been a little bit strange this cycle. It's been heavier longer. Usually it's only heavy for cycles day 1 and 2, and it's cycle day 3, and it's still very heavy. And typically my backache goes away on cycle day 2, and same with my cramps. They are still here. My backache is also now achy, but for the first 2 days was very sporadic. Same with my cramps. They're still sporadic. Like, I'll go maybe an hour with nothing, and then they'll, like, tighten up and I'll get a cramp, and then they kind of go away again. So, that's also a little atypical, so I just think, things were a little weird this cycle. And, I'm feeling weird about it, but I also am feeling good because this cycle so far has felt a lot better. It's already cycle day 3, and I can say it like that. It's already cycle day 3. It feels like it's moved really fast. And granted, it's only 3 days in, so who knows how I'll feel in the 15 days when I ovulate, but I'm feeling much better. So I'm going to come up with some ways to stay positive this cycle, and I'm going to share that in another video. And hopefully we can move forward. So that was the longest, like a 10-minute video where I don't know that I said a whole lot. Other than, I think I probably had a chemical last cycle, and I am moving forward. So, I love you ladies. Baby best to all of you. And I know a couple of you are going through some really, really tough stuff right now, and my heart is with you. So know that you have a friend in the middle of North America who is cheering for you. So I love you ladies, and I will talk to you very, very soon.